Welcome to Sarah's little corner of the crochet world. I'm Sarah. This is my corner. Welcome to it. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad for all my new subscribers. I appreciate you guys. I thank you for all the subscribers who've been with me for the past little while. So on this channel today we do talk about crochet techniques, yarn, and anything to deal with the fiber arts. So come on in, join, and have a grand old time. Today we're going to go over the treble stitch and magic circles. It was brought up in a discussion. I was talking to somebody in a live, and I apologize for not remembering who that was. It was with Triple C Dana. I know I was talking on her live. Anyways, I can't remember the name. Holy Spirit Firefall, I think it was. Don't ask me where that came from, but that is the name. Either way, so I wanted to make a quick video to show you guys on how I learned, and yes, it did take a while for the magic circle. It was not the easiest thing, but once I got a hold of it and I did it a few times, it made it a little bit easier. I've seen how some people explain it, and I believe I may have come up with a different method to explain it to you guys in hopes. So, all in all, the first thing we're going to need is you're going to need a chain 11 with your yarn, and itchy. And what you'll need to do, so we'll do the chain 11, then you will go into your second stitch from the hook, and you are going to do a single chain in each stitch, so you have 10 stitches. Now, if you do have your work from previous videos, keep that. You can definitely use it. You don't have to keep remaking like I do. I end up having to pull it out because my husband asks a question or it gets, yeah. Either way, I've restarted a few times. All in all, so today, like I said, we're going to go through the treble stitch. We're going to go through the magic circle. We're going to have a little bit of fun with that. And then after this video is where we're going to actually start working a small project just to see how things go. But by understanding these stitches and having worked and practiced on them, understanding a project will become easier for you when you're attempting different projects. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video. We're going to turn that camera around, and then we're going to show you what we have. So again, you always need your crochet hook. You'll need some yarn so you can work in stitches. All right, be right back. All right, so now we got our little swatch to start out. We're going to do a chain 3 so we can show you that treble stitch. Okay, so again, as you can see, here's our chain 3. 1, 2, and then 3 is up here. Very simple to see. Okay, and then you're going to turn your work. So now this chain 3 right here actually is this very first stitch. Okay, so this one right here, that is your chain 3. So you will not need to do a treble into that stitch. You will need to go into the very next stitch, which is this one. I figured this might be a little easier. Okay. So, to do a treble, you're going to wrap that yarn around the hook twice. So before you enter the stitch you're looking at, you're going to have 1, 2, and 3 on the hook. Okay. Then you're going to go into underneath of the stitch you're working. Okay. Get that yarn underneath the hook again. Pull it through that stitch. And now you should have 4 on the hook. Okay. So remember with the double, we went through the first 2 and then the last 2. This is pretty much the same thing. It's just we're going to do it 3 times. Okay, so we're going to put that yarn underneath the hook again, go through that heart, as you can see is coming through, 1 and 2 stitches. That leaves me with 3 stitches on the hook. Okay, so I'm going to go through these next 2. We're going to wrap that yarn underneath the hook, turn it towards the heart, and pull through the next two. Okay, so now you see here's your first stitch and this is your second stitch. So we're going to do that one more time and just pull through the last two. Okay, so with this you can see one stitch, two stitch, and then your last stitch, which is right here at the top. Very, very simple. Okay, so you're going to do it again. And like I said, practice, practice, practice. Even if you're making little swatches like this, pulling them apart and redoing them. Practice makes perfection, but that's the only way to get to it. So we're going to make sure there's 3 loops on the hook. Go through your next stitch. Wrap that yarn underneath the hook. Pull through your stitch. Okay. So now that I know I have 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm going to pull that yarn underneath again through the first 2 hearts, leaving me 3 loops. Pull through the next 2. And pull the third through. And that will give you your treble crochet. Okay. So again, we're just going to do a couple more. 3 on your hook. Before you go underneath your stitch, grab that yarn, get it underneath the hook, pull through the stitch you went through. Make sure you have 4. I'm so sorry about this video. It's just constantly changing, zooming in and out. Through the first 2. Okay. The next 2. Still 2 on the hook. Okay, and that's just really the difference between tension. This last one is really, really loose. This is not. Okay. So when you would get to the end, you do your last treble stitch. And then if you wanted to continue practicing on the same swatch, you just do your chain 3 and continue on how we started, really. That's all it is. Do your chain 3, and you treble into your next stitch, treble into your next stitch. Say after that you wanted to go back into your double, you could definitely do a chain 2 and then do your doubles across. But these were little practice swatches that I continuously made throughout my childhood, and you know what? It helped me immensely because now my tension when I'm not working video is really well. Like, I love my tension. So I do keep that in the works. Work on your trebles for now. I'm going to switch the video over again. We're going to work into a magic circle. So for those of you who have issues, I'm hoping I can explain this in a different method and hope to help you guys. So just give me a minute here. Alrighty, so welcome back. Now what we're going to do is show you the magic circle, and I hopefully can make this work, make it easier for you guys. So having the string between your index and your thumb, yes, it looks like an alligator. The lips are chomping on the yarn, okay? And if it was a shadow, it would look like an alligator because I'd have the little hole, okay? All right, back to this circle. So all we're going to do is place your yarn between those 2 fingers and hold it, okay? That's your tail end, working yarn. So wrap it around 2 fingers, just so it gives you space to work in the circle. And then I come up and slip it in between those 2 fingers and move the yarn back, okay? The reason for that is just so that the yarn is actually out of my way. Now when getting my first stitch, if I look at it this way, we're going to put our hook in between there, get that yarn on the hook, and pull it through. Now from this point we know it's not going to stay, so then without moving, I've grabbed that second piece of yarn with the hook. If it is not possible, I understand that it looks easy as to what I just did. However, I've had lots of practice doing this. Okay, and then we would pull. We would have that. Pull through. Okay, so now this is where you can actually let go of your magic circle. Okay, this chain that you just made, slip down. Okay, pull taut on your yarn. There you go. Now you have a circle, and this always happens. A little misconfusion. Okay, so because I have this tail end and I'm gonna have to work it in the end, I like to crochet over the tail so it gets included. Okay, so if I'm doing single chains, we'll just practice that for today, is we will go underneath the circle, grab that yarn. Now I have my 2 loops. Get that yarn underneath the hook. There's your first single chain. Okay, go underneath again, grab the yarn, got 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video quickly. I'm going to do a couple more and then I can show you how to close that magic circle. Alright, so we've got the finished or half finished magic circle here. So we've got 10 stitches, all single crochet across this. So now we need to close the circle, and all you have to do is find your tail. Okay, and that's why we say yes, definitely crochet over it. However, I forgot to mention, always ensure to leave a bit of it out because you will need that. Okay, so all I'm going to do is grab a hold just lightly enough so that I can keep the project steady, pull on that tail only, and you'll start to see that close. Okay, so now it's not fully closing because my thumb is there. It likes holes, I don't know why, or at least that, like that one. Okay, so then we're just gonna grab it, I don't know, by the entrance you could say, continuously pulling on the tail, and there you go, you can close that circle. Okay, so that is exactly what the magic circle is. Okay, so then next thing we can do is, if you want to close that circle off and make it a nice little circle, all you have to do is go underneath that first chain, and of course I made it too tight, and with the plastic hooks they don't have a lot of dig in, but you know what, that's what happens when you have a really tight stitch. Ouch. That's okay. All right, so all you need to do is put that string underneath of the hook once you've gotten underneath of your first stitch. Grab through 1 and 2, and that is, if I'd pulled this tighter it would be. Okay. So that's because I've left the stitch too big, is the only reason it looks off. And because I like to be a bit of a perfectionist, I went back, give it a little pull, get that yarn underneath, and there you go. So now if I wanted to do another row, I could do chain 1, go into your next stitch, and do a single crochet. Okay, so if you continue just doing 1 single crochet in each stitch, it would stay the same size and basically just start curling up. So it would create basically just like a vase. Here's your base, and then it would just go up like this because there's no increase or decrease. So at that time, as this is only magic circles and trebles today, we will get into that. However, this is how I started off with magic circles. They seem to work out pretty well. I always have a nice taut end with a very, very small hole, sometimes absolutely none, depending on how I do it. There you go. Okay, so it's just depending on what kind of yarn you're using as to how tight you can actually pull it. So that is a magic circle. I hope it helps you guys in understanding. We'll definitely get into increasing and decreasing in another video, and then because we won't need it just yet, we're going to, on the very next beginners video, work into a project with the first 5 stitches that you guys have used. And we may or may not actually use the magic circle. So all in all, I'll make the decision before we get there. However, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for coming along. I hope you guys practice what I'm teaching you. Please leave a comment, share, like, don't forget to please hit that subscribe button. It means a lot. Definitely have a great day, morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever time it is where you guys are. Have a great time and happy crafting. Bye.